Greetings, Masandawana. Welcome back to yet another installment of the Yellow Corner. And we bring you game week, is it game week 9 match preview. Our match against Marumo Gallants. A very blunt Marumo who might just put in a gallant effort though on Sunday. Show him, Dogish.
Shosho Temsumtung.
How are you?
I'm not doing it.
Not too well, but I should be fine, man. I should be fine. Another win midweek against Maritzburg. Hard-fought win against Maritzburg, eh?
Yeah, no, it was a hard-fought win, like you're saying. As much as I said on the review that the performance wasn't well, but what matters the most, it is the 3 points. And also, second half, we played much better and we scored the goal that we needed.
Yeah. And we march on. But the most important Mamelodi Sundowns match this weekend is our CAF Women's Champions League group stage match versus Kenya's Vihari Queens at 1600 hours. The game and the tournament is taking place in Egypt, where we won our Champions League. So hopefully that will be a lucky charm to our ladies. And yeah, all the best to Coach Jerry and the ladies, man. Please, guys, let's send them messages of support on all social media platforms they on, man. We really need to push our ladies to bring this back home and make the final on the 19th, and hopefully on the 20th or 21st we'll be at OR to welcome them with the Champions League trophy, man. Wouldn't that be just nice, Rapela?
It will be definitely nice. I think they're a good team. They've dominated in South Africa. I think there's a chance to dominate in Africa as well. But I have faith in them. I believe in them. And also, I know they are capable of winning that CAF Champions League as well.
Definitely, man. Yeah, let's move on to our match preview, our league match against Marumo Gallants. Like I said, a very messy Marumo Gallants, man. A very, to a certain extent, unprofessional, man. If they're not registering the players, the jersey number, jersey number 100, they travel with one kit. You look at, have you seen their team sheets? When they post their team sheets on Twitter?
I don't follow their account on Twitter.
It's the smallest things that tell you a lot about a team. So they are, a team sheet would either be a numerical or position study players. It will be a Ruby, and then it will be Otladisa, and then it will be. It's a mess, man. It's a mess. Yeah, hopefully they will be in that state when we play them on Sunday evening, man. Perhaps their African adventure, do you think it's affecting their local form?
Definitely. I think it does, because of they went in Africa, but they've done much better compared to the league. I think they don't have enough depth in their squad where they can rotate, or they can have good players to compete both in Africa and in the league at the same time. But I think because of the season in CAF Champions League is still in the early stage. I think they have plenty of time to do well in the league. But I look at their position and I look at how they perform in Africa. I'm more worried about their status in the PSL.
Perhaps there's only one South African team taking part in the Champions League. It's Mamelodi Sundowns. I was only Champions League. Yeah. Well, they've played 8 league games. They've won 0. They've drawn 4, lost 4, goals for 3, goals against 6. Yeah, no, 4 points. It's a disaster, man. It's a disaster, man. Like when you look at the weakness, they are a low goal scoring team, man. Their XG goals for it's 0.86, but they are currently doing 0.25, and against it 0.65, but they are currently doing 1.75. So ke mathata fela mole. They're not scoring. Yeah, ke mathata in terms of goal scoring.
Yeah, no, they are not scoring enough goals. But if you can look at the goals that they have conceded, I think they've conceded a decent number of goals. There are not a lot of goals because of there are 5 teams in the league that they have conceded more than Marumo Gallants. There are 3 teams that have conceded the same goals as Marumo Gallants. So I think in defense they are decent, but they need those goals to get the maximum points. And also maybe there are certain games where they played draw, but they should have won those games, more especially their game against Amazon. I think they should have won that game because of they dominated, they created a number of chances compared to Amazon. As much as Amazon had the ball position, but Marumo Gallants created enough chances to win the game.
Yeah, man, that game I was not able to watch it. You watched it. Any weaknesses that you picked up from that game and in their games before that one?
Look, I think their weakness starts up front. I think the guys who are playing up front, they are not putting enough pressure on their opponents, more especially in the build-up phase. Hence, the midfielder, they have to do all the job in terms of defending and protecting the defense as well. So I think their defense should start up front. They should be positive up front in terms of winning the ball and scoring. So they need to sort that out. But when Lerato Lamola came on against Amazolo, you know, Lamola can run, can put pressure on the defense. Even Pizzo used to say like that Ramola is that type of player, doesn't let the opponents to have an easy build-up phase. So they need a guy like Lamola of the on the field. And also the more weaknesses that I've witnessed, it is on the front three. Like even if when they have the ball, like they are not comfortable, they lose the ball early, there's no mobility. But I think they could improve because of against Kaizer Chiefs, they did very well, they dominated, and also they should have won that game because of they created clear goal scoring opportunities compared to Kaizer Chiefs. But look, it's still I don't want to say it's still early because we don't know whether they are going to change or not. But I think they should pick up their socks and fight Ahuli, because of the more leaking the more some other teams will want to, and it is going to be difficult for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always best to pick up points early in the season, because second round of the season it's always difficult. But another thing that I've noticed, man, Kore, their centre back, they always play. There's always a bit of a gap between them. They are closer to the other fullback than they are to each other most of the time, which means there's a hole open centrally. They just fortunate that they have someone like Miguel Tim, who's very smart, who can sense danger and pick up or no, I need to cover here. And I think the other thing that affects them as a team is that they are not settled as a team. They don't have a starting lineup that will play the next 3 games. So their lineup changes time and again. So I think if they were to maybe have, say after the international break, have a starting lineup that will be consistent, maybe give them a good run of games, so that they build relationship and maybe get a bit more points. And the last 10 minutes of the games, they concede between the 81st and 90th minute. That's where they concede most of their goals. They've conceded 33% of their goals during that period, which tells me they are not fully switched on that critical time of the match, or they are not fit enough by the 80th minute, it's about chance, and once you're tired, you start making mistakes, and hence they concede. And during that period, we've scored 15% of our goals. That last 10 minutes, which is our second highest. The strength is abona.
Look, I think, like I've said, their defense looks decent. They don't concede a lot of goals, and also their defense, they stick to their primary job, which is defending. They don't try to do anything fancy. They don't try to build up the ball. I think they just play those long balls and look forward to win the second balls in the middle field. I think that has helped them to concede not a lot of goals. And also the relationship of Khumalo and Team, I think it is a good partnership in the middle of the field. The understanding it is there. They are very energetic, and also Miguel Team is good, technical and tactical. So it helps the team very well in terms of he can keep possession, he can link with Ndlondo, who is very good on the ball, and he has a brilliant footwork. He can dribble and create chances for the team. But one of the weaknesses that I want to mention, if Ndlondo is not in the game, the team doesn't perform. I think sometimes they rely too much on him, but on his day can cause an upset to any team. And also Mnyamani, when it comes to set plays, we know that Mnyamani can deliver a beautiful cross, or can have can aim to score. So I think that is one of that. Those are their strengths.
Speaking of Mnyamani, if you remember last season when they were still called Chakuma, the goal that we considered when we played in Polokwane, it was from a set piece delivery Mnyamani. So yeah, that's one of their strengths. And I think the other thing is they are very they knock the ball really well. Ball game, they're very comfortable on the ball, man. They can play in small spaces. Or it's just that when it gets to the final third, that's where they lose it. But Bona, they play in short spaces. They're very good on the ball, to be honest, Bona. And like their short passing game is really good. And I think another thing, individually, just like Maritzburg, we said last week, they have, Miguel Team, Ngema, Zondo, Mnyamani, Otladisa. Naming just 5 of those guys individually, they're very good players. And I think Otladisa, he might have a point to prove. I was good enough to have played for Sundowns, and he's really good. Otladisa takes on players, man. He's technically sound as a player. So I think he might start this game, and he might give us a hard time. And he's a different type of winger. Old school in a way. He doesn't sit on one flank for the whole game. Like today, if a winger will stay on the left for 90 minutes, no, Otladisa will switch during the game. So I think we have to guard against that, because I think he's really good on the ball. And I'm not sure if this is a strength or what, but last season when we played them, we had Arubi gave us a hard time, man. He was prime Oliver Kahn, man. So yeah, hopefully he doesn't have a game like that on Sunday. Yes, my focus keeps drifting. I mean, there's the explosives can't like I don't know what's going on. But yeah, how this is how I think they will line up, ne? And then you'll tell me. I don't have a Kumalo in my team, but I think you might have him in your team. I think it's about a Ruby. Yeah, is there a team that has short players like King Marumo in the PSL? And when I once I try to Marumo fit. But just because of your height, man. Yeah, it's Hotiani, Nonyani, Sapo, Maboja, Team Ngemalzondlo, Otladisa, Itie Kwapeng, as well as Mnyaman. I think they will play Mnyaman on the left, where I think he's totally wasted on the left. I think if he was to play behind the striker, he'll offer them a lot. You know, he'd find gaps and play, try find the through ball from there. Hey, I think he'd be really dangerous just behind the strikers. Your opinion?
Look, I think obviously Ahu will start. Nonyan will definitely start Maboja, and they'll play Nhlapo. And I can't remember who played right back against Amazulu, but in the middle field they'll definitely go with Miguel Tim and Kumalo based on their energetic and also how they can cover a lot of space. So like he knows against Sundowns he can't offer us enough space because of that's where we capitalize the most. And I think they'll play 4-3-3 like Amazulu. Ndlondlo will play as number 8 and front three. It will be Mnyamane. I would have Otladisa and Lamula. The rest, Litio Kwapeng and Dion, who started against Amazulu.
Before we move to Sundowns, the XG that I mentioned there, Amazulu, is not overall home and away. It's just the XG that, what am I saying? The XG that I mentioned, Marumo Gallants, is not overall home and away. It's just for away. And yeah, how do we beat these guys? I think you look at our SG, this is for our home games. 1.3 for goals for, but we're currently doing 2. And yeah, man, for the goals against is 0.90. We're currently doing 0. So it's absolutely crazy, man. That, you know, I think the goal for PSL teams now is who scores first against Sundowns now, eh?
Yeah. And I don't think Marumo Gallants, they are capable of scoring Mamelodi Sundowns. Like our defense looks very solid. And look, it is difficult to score against Sundowns. So imagine how difficult it is to win against Sundowns.
Yeah. And at home, we average 55% ball possession, which I found to be very strange. And in a way low. But the one thing that I want to talk about is that the number of goals that we score in the second half, man. Between the 51st and the 61st minute, we score. That's where we score the most number of our goals, which is 38%. Why do you think that's the reason we score so many goals during that period?
I think first off, we knock the ball around and try to tire the opponent. And second half, we come out as a different team. And we take the game to the next level and we punish them. And if Ukasheva left first half, like, you are not playing very bad, but the performance of second half, I think everyone they've studied the game first half. So second half rating, like, and also I think because of we are a team that normally in charge of the game in terms of the possession, I think that's where we win most of our games second half. But the teams, I think they should study Mamelodi Sundowns because of most goals we have scored this season, they come from second half, and that should be observant to the opponents, because of go against Pirates, we went to halftime as 0-0. Second half, we scored 2 goals against TS Galaxy, 0-0 halftime. Second half, we scored 3 goals. So I think the teams, I don't think they found a solution to stop that.
It's easy to pick it up. It's easy to plan against stopping it, but executing it is another story. It's this takes me back to our game against Pirates Orlando. Halftime we were talking about, hey, no, Sundowns.
You are in control of the game. Yes. You can get a goal second half and close the shop. Can't tell you second half.
Rabs, in the game against actually in some games, ever since we started playing just double pivot, I've noticed Zwane spends a lot of time more zone 10, zone 13, and zone 14. And no, he doesn't spend a lot of time there. Most of his time there. He spends a lot of time, he drifts as far back as zone 7. Whereby at times I feel like it's too far, and I would like to see him Adule Ali between 10, 13, and 14, occupy that space. But again, I look at it and I think maybe this is a deliberate ploy, technical team, because as he does that, moves back, he allows the fullback, Laila K, most of the time, whoever is playing left back, space and room to move forward. And I don't think most teams have picked it up. And little goal that we scored yesterday, he was in our own half, got the build-up phase. So do you think he should continue doing that, or you'd like to see him more upfront?
I have 2 answers for that. I'd want to see him upfront because of he can score, he can assist, and lately he hasn't scored enough goals, or he hasn't been assisting. But another answer is that when he comes a little bit deeper to collect the ball, he stretches the defense. And you know that every opponent that play against Mamelodi Sundowns, they are worried about Zwane. So Zwane, he should create space for other players to utilize that space and punish the opponent. So I think sometimes it's about creating enough spaces for other players to take charge in those spaces and look forward to creating chances.
Yeah, definitely. And I think on Sunday we should have him do that. Always have whichever 8 or 2 8s that they play preoccupied and thinking about Zwane. I think we should keep the ball as much as we can, because one, they concede a lot of goals late in the second half, tire them and capitalize on that, because it shows, man, a second half they concede a lot of goals. So it's not one of those games that we should go. If it happens that we get an early goal, fine. But if we don't, we'll definitely get it late in the game. And I think we shouldn't, if they're playing game, we should in their build-up phase, allow Tim to have the ball. He's very good on the ball, but shut down those two, because they're the ones who make them tick. So without Bona being on the ball, they won't pose any danger more now. And I would love us to start with Mutupa, so because I know if we start with them, they will give Nhlapo Linonyane a hard time, because like I said earlier on, they are always open. And if you have striker it's smart like Shalulile Limutupa, they definitely utilize that gap that they always leave, where they always stretch to. So yeah, I think we should go about that, winning the game like that. Rabs, yeah?
Well, yeah? I wanted to add something. Because of, like I said, their front three, defensively. They don't put pressure on the defense of the opponent. A guy like Musa should be aware of that, and I'm expecting him to progress with the ball very well and to find those spaces. I think Musa Lebuza is going to be very crucial for us in terms of finding those spaces in the second phase of the pitch, and also like be comfortable on the ball and dominate the game in all departments and create enough chances and be clinical in front of goals. I think against Maxbeck we didn't create enough, but that was understandable because of we played a cup final. But I'm expecting us to create good clear-cut chances and be ruthless in front of goals as well.
Yeah, as you mentioned that what you want Musa to do with the ball, Coach Ulani Vulankwatisa, when he speaks about that, he always mentions Rudiger only. He never mentions Matip. I don't know if he has a beef. Yeah, against my team. I always mentions Rudiger. The one thing that I wanted to talk about before we move to Khuliso Mudau. Last season, when we first played against 16, we played Black Leopards and we drew a game that we should have won. I hope we don't make the same mistakes we made in that game and we kill off game when we have time. Yes, they concede a lot of their goals later on in the match, but when you have them against the wall, kill off the game. I don't want what happened last season against Leopards to happen. That game annoyed me. And the substitutions that we did, we substituted, I think, 2 of the midfield 3 or all of them, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. Perhaps Khuliso Mudau, I can safely say Khuliso is now our number 1 right back.
Pick my call. Khuliso has done very well this season. I said it is going to be very difficult for Thapelo to reclaim that position. As much as we know that there are games where our approach will suit Thapelo more, but recently I think Khuliso Mudau has done very well, and also he is improving. He's slowly getting there. I think it's only a matter of time where he becomes a little bit complete right back, where offensively will offer us something positive. But I'm happy with his performance. And when he came to Mamelodi Sundowns, I didn't think he will do very well. I was doubting him, but like Majida Achware, how about Sefa Humble Pie? You should be grateful, and we just he has done very well, and I'm happy for him.
Same here, man. Khuliso defensively is really sound, man. I don't panic anymore when he's facing any winger, man. Like I'm sure guy now, but yeah. There's something that's been happening at Sundowns, and I want to talk about this now because we're doing well. I don't want to raise it when maybe we drop form. Tabayari today, when we're playing ISO 11, Rapelang is on the bench and maybe gets a few minutes, enough. But come weekend, when we're playing 0-11, a player who was not in the match day squad goes straight to the starting 11 ahead of someone who was on the bench. I don't know, man. How do you feel about that? Have you picked it up?
I haven't, but as a fan, it is difficult to answer those questions because of obviously we don't spend enough time. We don't spend time in training. We don't know what happens behind the scene. All we can see it is what happens on the field. But because of your pick that, I think I will start to pay attention on that. And look, if it happens to me, it doesn't make sense. But hopefully, the coaches have their own reasons why that in 20 years.
Yep, keep an eye on it. Your starting lineup?
I'll bring Onyango back. I'll have Mudau, Grant, Lbusa, Lyle. Double pivot of Jali and Domingo. Front four, Zwane, Mayema, Shalulile. I'll start Gift.
I have the same lineup as you. I have this. I need Gift to start this game, man. Mzala can go to the bench, man. Yeah. Predictions.
Because of we are playing Marumo, one of their players called Kabakal Rumo, and it is a pity they don't have a finisher like Simba Repa Marumo. Those are bars. We are going to win 2-0. Shalule will definitely score, and I think Maima will score.
I hope it's not Mzala Ikawangali Rumo. It will be sad if your cousin scores an own goal against your team. But yeah. I think we will win 3-0. I think Peter will score. I think Shika and Mayema will get the other goals. And yeah, that's it. Going into an international break. So this is the last preview. Let's go into the international break on a high and win this game. So, it sucks when you go into an international break. Got the last game, you've dropped points. So good luck to the boys on Sunday. But good luck more to our ladies on Saturday afternoon, man. Send your starting lineups, subscribe, like, and comment. We will see you after the international window. Cheers.
Dango.